I'm in a lot of trouble.
On your poll, you're welcome to put an asterisk that Erik stole.
Yeah, it's all
that you were leaning toward.
It is game over here. Game over. All right, so you can go to Movies, Films, and Flicks, our Facebook page. So movies, film. Well, you know how to spell it. You're listening to the podcast. Go visit the podcast, the Facebook page. We have a lot of fun polls. Super positive place. I don't really we just keep it nice. Everyone's friendly to each other. It's a cool community. So follow Movies, Films, and Flicks on Facebook and come vote on this poll the day after this episode has been released. So if you're listening to this 20 days afterwards, just go to Movies, Films, and Flicks for other polls and more stuff that we have. So check that out then. But Erik, you were talking about some MPH's temple rubbing in this movie. Do you want to expand earlier?
Yeah. As I was rewatching this, and MPH has some special powers in this movie, and what he did to show it is he would put the two fingers against the temple move. And I was thinking, I know that temple move. And then James McAvoy from the reboot of X-Men did the same thing. And I have a theory that James McAvoy completely and blatantly ripped off Neil Patrick Harris for that temple move.
Whoa.
What are your thoughts on that?
I could see it. I mean, he was probably right around that time to like it, and you had to know that exists. You know what? I'm going to say it. I'm going to say that, type it in. They do look the exact same. James McAvoy temple. But see, here's the thing. Okay, when I think of McAvoy's temple rub, I think of more frustrated, more angsty. When I think of MPH's temple rub, I think of it more as I'm doing science. What do you think? When MPH does it, it's more effortless. But when McAvoy does it, he's like, "Argh." He puts all of his facial muscles into it.
I disagree. I think they were both using the temple when they were really getting into it. Like Neil Patrick Harris was trying to figure out what cards that Rico was picking, and they were in his basement, and he had the ferret running around.
He's mean to that ferret.
Yeah, he had it bite his mom's leg. But yeah, he was still harnessing the power of his psychic ability. And when McAvoy does it, it's when it's like a really serious moment in the films where he really had to leverage his power for an outcome. So I think McAvoy stole it from Neil Patrick Harris.
Wow. All right, so how about this? Want to put that poll up on the Movies, Films, and Flicks page too? Who did the better temple rub, MPH or McAvoy?
Let's do it.
All right, which one am I picking? X-Men First Class?
Yes.
Okay, because he's probably perfected it by Days of Dark Phoenix.
Let's do the one where he introduced it.
All right, so the first time he did it. The first time both of them did it. Got it. Because in maybe Days of Future Past, he might have gotten better at it.
So that would be unfair to MPH because he wasn't in the Starship Troopers sequels, which there were two of them.
I watched the second one, and it's basically it's basically Bug Hunt at Outpost 9. It's a siege filler.
But it only had a $10 million budget.
Yeah. No, but it didn't even try to be. Sorry to interrupt. It didn't try to be anything other than Marines killing bugs. There was no. Does that make sense? There's no moments in it when they even threw in. There's like, let's kill these bugs.
They went for the part of the quadrant that was kill bugs good.
Yeah, exactly.
Kill bugs good, part of the quadrant.
And then I guess the third one, which I haven't watched, has brought back more of the humor.
Anime. But that was the anime one, right?
No, they did a live action one with Casper.
Oh, okay. Which one was the anime one? Was that the second one or the third one?
I think it was the fourth.
They did a fourth one?
Yeah, animated.
Oh, mind blown.
They did 3 live action, and then they started doing the animated ones.
From my Googling, I think a reboot is in discussions, is what I saw.
Oh, yeah, they're planning one.
Are they really?
Yeah, but how? I don't know.
With this much like groundswell and this like cult favorite, I mean, they're going to make a lot of money off of it.
I hope so. Okay, the problem is, what the brilliance of Starship Troopers is you didn't get a lot of the brilliance of Verhoeven.
Has Verhoeven ever done a sequel?
No. So he did RoboCop. He didn't come back for that. He also did his films overseas. He never finished those. He never did a sequel to those. No, so I think that's it. I think he just does one movie and gets out. He has no urge. He just wants to make Paul Verhoeven movies, and a sequel probably wouldn't be a Paul Verhoeven movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah. What else do you have to say about his parallel narrative that he did in the original Starship Troopers? He made his point, and how can you add on to that?
You know, it's kind of wild. So he started off with these movies: Diary of a Hooker, Turkish Delight, which people love. But then if you think RoboCop, right? They made a bunch of sequels and remakes. They made a PG-13 remake of RoboCop, which misses the point of RoboCop. Then they did sequels to Basic Instinct that were terrible. And then they did Starship Troopers sequels, which were terrible. They haven't done a Total Recall of one yet. Well, they did a remake of it that was PG-13, and that was terrible. It's really hard to follow up his stuff. And though they did a Hollow Man sequel with Christian Slater.
You might as well just have Adam Sandler and his crew redo Starship Troopers for his worst movie ever.
Oh my gosh! I mean, no, we got that jacked up, and yeah, I could change the name. They're jacked up soldiers.
For those of you who don't know, Mark went viral for a suggested Adam Sandler worst movie of all time based on all of his other worst movies, and it went totally viral everywhere. And I think this might challenge it.
Hey, Sandler asked for it. Well,
yeah.
I think that's why people loved it, because I wrote it positively. Like, hey, Sandler, you said that you would make the worst movie ever if Uncut Gems...
It was constructive.
Yeah.
It was constructive. Like, you were trying to help him out.
And so it didn't just come... I think people loved it because it didn't come from the Hateful Eight. But, oh man, that'd be good. The Hateful Eight versus Starship Troopers. Them stuck in a thing, just shooting bugs.
Out west or in outer space?
It'd have to be... Oh, man. Well, he's never done a movie... Well, Pixels was outer space. It'd have to be a Western, because that's a 0% rated movie.
But then they did Cowboys vs. Aliens, which was panned.
Oh, that movie though just didn't. That movie looked great, but it didn't have anything, right?
I don't remember anything from it.
No,
I watched it, but I don't remember a thing.
You know what's weird when you watch, and maybe you have this too, but when you watch as many movies as me. You know that the movies are good that you like when you can remember watching them, or you can remember character names. So there's movies that came out this year like Bloodshot that I love and I think about it all the time. But then I'm watching movies 4 weeks ago and I'm like, oh yeah, I saw that. Does that make sense? So
it makes complete sense. Look at Starship Troopers. I remembered the movie in 2020 after it came out in 1997. Like I remembered all those iconic scenes. I can't say that about so many movies that just go in and out.
You brought up a movie earlier when we were talking. You brought up Extract. I completely forgot I watched that movie. Extract? No, Extraction.
Extraction.
That's all Jason Bateman. Extract, where he works at a factory and he's just miserable.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Extraction with Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, no, we were, but I just called it Extract. So then I said... and they needed some extractions from this movie, too, and Denise and the other pilot who came down. So it was Denise... what's the other guy's name?
Send in the boat. The boat's coming down.
Xander. When Xander and Carmen came down. Erik, they're in high school. Their indoor football league is insane. Our team, what's happening? Like, what? Oh, so they're not outdoors. This is indoor arena football. Full flips, tackles with 40-year-old people, and they're high schoolers, and Dizzy's the quarterback.
Do you know what something I caught the last time I saw it was... When after the game, when they went to the glitzy prom and Diz and Rika were dancing, he asked her what she was going to do after high school. And she says, I might play for Tokyo or Rio. I don't know. Depends on who lets me start. So she gave up a scholarship or an opportunity to play football quarterback of the next level to join the mobile infantry to follow him.
Jeez Louise. Well, he's following Denise Richards.
Yeah.
It
was a bold move, Cotton.
And Pepper needs new shorts. If she would have been safe in Tokyo too, because they got Buenos Aires, they blew that up, right? The bugs. So some people say it's an inside job. Did the bugs? Do you think there's no way to prove one way or the other, right?
Inside job?
Yeah, they said that the military shot a rock, so she did another course, so no one should have been out there, and that rock shouldn't have come from that area. So they said that. Someone like the military sent that rock that way to get people attacking the bugs quicker.
Oh, I missed that. I completely missed that nuance in the movie.
Well, that's just a theory that people have on the internet.
I wonder how much fan fiction is being written about Starship Troopers.
I bet you there's a lot. But that's been brought up. And also, I gotta say, we haven't brought this up yet. This was a $100 million movie. But that football scene, from a production standpoint, is very expensive. Very expensive.
That's a lot of extras. They had so many extras in the basic training scene and the college scene and the football scene. I mean, that's a lot of people marching around going,
so many. And they built that entire set and they built that football set and they made those costumes and helmets and shoulder pads for one take, like one scene. And then that dance, the amount of extra. There was good dancing extras in that, by the way. I normally hate dancing extras.
Yeah, it's a good point. A lot of them are really bad when you really like look in the surrounding areas when they dance.
That's the problem with working with so many. I was going to say a couple things. Watching tennis movies nowadays, that's tough because you can't capture tennis correctly on screen with the actors. But watching movies now, whenever I see extras doing something weird, it makes me so mad. But I don't know if you noticed that scene where, like, they really glory lit the heck out of Diz in that scene. So her hair light is just out of this world. So
she had big hair. She had big, awesome, beautiful hair in that movie. The whole movie.
But they did that to draw the attention on her. So normally when they glory light somebody, watch a movie where there's like a love interest or someone who's very angelic or you're supposed to like, they glory light them. So just watch her hair. That's another Verhoeven decision that I think he did a pretty great job on. I mean, he just knew. And so I don't know if you know Joss Wacano, the DP on this movie. He also did Das Boot, and he had worked on hit with Neverending Story before this one too.
Neverending Story, wow.
Yeah, so he drowned that horse. And then the production designer, I don't know, real quick.
Oh, we can thank him for all those nightmares and crying sections we had in middle school with the Neverending Story.
Just a horse dying. But this guy, the production designer of this, Alan Cameron, he did all the Mummy movies. He did Van Helsing, Sahara, but he also did Willow and Jungle Book and all those movies before this. So they had some big. They had the guy who shot Das Boot, RoboCop, Hollow Man, like Total Recall. They had the designer, the production designer from Willow and Jungle Book and major movies. They had Phil Tippett. Man, it's just crazy. And like the costumes, they made how many costumes? 2,300 costumes for this movie.
Wow.
Yeah, I just had to bring that up. I know we're
from all the extras and the boot camp scenes.
I know we're going
and all
other
the soldiers.
It's crazy, right? Just the amount of guns that they actually built.
Remember the scene where Rico and the other pilot got in that fight where the pilot was like, rank doesn't matter right now, and then they all like they get in this big brawl when it really looked like they wanted to hurt each other. Like a lot of times in fights you're like whatever, but these two guys looked like they really wanted to tear each other apart. And there were at least 200 people in that set watching that fight and surrounding it, and it gives it that kind of energy. But that was a lot of people.
Yeah, there's keeps so many extras in this. And you know what else is interesting? They filmed all the war scenes first. So Phil Tippett had more time to do the animation, which is really smart. And then they filmed all that crap later.
Oh, that's a good move because it's right. There's like 3 different war scenes spread out on the same desert-looking planet.
So they did that all back to back. It kind
of looked like Tatooine a little bit from the Star Wars movie.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right. It's crazy that they did it in Wyoming and like certain areas. But
they had the slot canyons, and they had like if you're moving through a terrain, never go through a valley where like the enemy could be on rocks above you. Like that's another attack. Going back to the tactics, it's the worst possible thing you can do.
I just watched a movie called Dracula Untold, and I really enjoyed it. We did an episode for it, but this Persian general leads something like 100,000 people through a crevasse. And you're kind of, not like a canyon. And you're like, what? You just gave up the high. Canyon. Yeah, you just gave up the high ground. That's not like. Have you not watched Revenge of the Sith or Wonder Woman? They gave up the high ground too, and they got wiped out. That lady got shot. Just never give up the high ground. But
yeah, you talking about Wonder Woman when they swang down from the cliff to fight the bad guys on the beach?
Yeah, they had a ton of bow and arrows. They could just lit them up.
What are you doing? Why are you going down there?
Maybe they hadn't seen guns yet, so maybe they didn't. They had a bunch of hubris. But also, I mean, it's just Battle 101. You haven't scouted these people. Just shoot them with your bows and arrows.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I bet you the military advisors out there are like, yeah, listen to Mark. But all I'm saying is hold on to high ground.
It's not like it's a secret. It's something that's been done for thousands of years.
Yeah, just keep high ground. And but that Starship Troopers fight, you're right. They really did go at each other. But my bouncing days, I've seen a ton of brawls, and I've never seen somebody get flipped. In movies, they love flipping people. Just picking people up and flipping them. There's some pretty good flips on tables in that fight.
Yeah, the Xander slammed him down on the table, and he kneed him and then flipped back to his feet. Like in a real fight, you wouldn't have time, or you wouldn't want to waste the energy required to do a flip if you could do a flip, which I cannot.
It wouldn't even look that good though. In a real world, the table would explode.
Well, there were two other flip situations. There was the flip in the football game.
Yep.
There's a flip when they were doing the laser tag in the basic training where he had ran the football play, and he flipped over the two guys and then drilled them. There were 3 most flips ever